Okay, so this is how we do an artist study. Choose an artist and you print out a couple of photos of their artwork to put into your sketchbook and work around. Next, I'm using some liquid watercolor to create just a little swatch. Sometimes you might mess up. If you do, then just cover it up and keep going, okay? It's important to keep going in what you're doing and find creative ways to cover up your mistakes or make them into something, because you don't want a bunch of half-started pages in your sketchbook. You want to try and fill them up as much as you can if possible. So I went ahead and just cut out another piece of paper and redid it. Another thing that you want to do is to write about your artist. So I wrote about what his artwork tended to be about, like social activism and AIDS awareness, and then I also write about and experiment with the different elements that the artist uses mostly in his work. So Keith Haring is an artist that uses a lot of bold lines and bright colors. Excuse my son in the background if you can hear him. And then shapes and colors. So here I'm just kind of experimenting with a Tombow marker on top of the liquid watercolor that I created using old markers. Anytime you experiment with something, you always want to label it. So that way, if you like the effect that you created, you can go back and remember how you created it and what materials you used. Next thing, I'm going to create a small work of art that is based on the style of Keith Haring. So I did some figure studies and I chose a figure to be painting. After I did my initial pencil drawing, I went over with a Sharpie. Notice I'm trying to drag the lines out as long as possible, not short little strokes, but I'm trying to make solid lines, and I'm going to outline the whole figure. So I'm doing this because the examples that I have in Keith Haring's work tends to use bold lines. So now I'm going to go back over it, thicken those lines. Next thing, I'm going to paint it using that same liquid watercolor that I made myself using water and old markers. And if you want to learn how to do that, then you need to look at the tutorial that I did, which is on my YouTube channel or on the Wakelet for the Date Dynasty art resources. So I'm going to use a couple of different colors in this little piece that I'm creating. So after you finish with your piece, then you will also attach that into your sketchbook and you'll be done with your artist study.